Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And oh boy, has this been a crazy 24 hours. I mean, guys, we just got ourselves a crazy announcement about the CPI, which is basically that the expected inflation was only 7.3%, but the actual inflation turned out to be 7.5%. That is huge, guys. That is extremely huge. But I've also noticed some crazy adoption stories, one of them being this right here. McDonald's to join the metaverse after filing trademarks to create a virtual restaurant and goods. Now, guys, if you're wondering, is the metaverse real? That's a very hard question to answer. I mean, it's a definitely debatable point. But is the metaverse getting some crazy adoption? Yes, guys, it is insane what we are seeing for the metaverse and all the different clients and different partners that are adapting to this technology, this newer realm as well. It is just literally going nuts. Now, one thing I've described on the channel is I am really crazy on altcoins right now. I've told you all before, it's a riskier strategy. And I basically separate my portfolios into different areas, one part being the most stable, of course, the second part being the more, a little bit riskier altcoins, and the last part being the IDO, gems, the degenerate coins, whatever. And one of the things which I've basically been really lacking in is, to be honest with you, NFTs. I have not really gotten into them. I don't own a lot of them. I really have never decided to get into them and invest like my time to researching them. However, one of the guys came up to me just now of Greedy Gramps. It's one very nice guy, and they've just explained to me in real detail what the thought process is behind it. And it was actually a couple weeks ago already, but I've been thinking about it for a while. But more and more people over the last couple of weeks have asked me questions about it. And so I'm definitely going to be buying a little bit more into them, but there's a very big catch. I will not buy, and I'm putting this out there right now, a single piece of just art unless somebody can really get me a convincing story. What I'm generally speaking going to do here is basically buy into quite a lot of different communities. And the first one I'm going to buy into is Greedy Gramps, purely because you guys have been trying to convince me. All my friends have been trying to convince me, and the prospects just sound good. Why? Because you're getting a lot of connection to different people, and a lot of people told me about flipping them. Again, guys, I am not too familiar with the entire story. Here I just noticed the person talking to me about this is very knowledgeable about crypto, very knowledgeable and very respectable in the space. And he told me you have, basically, if you get the NFT, there's going to be a lot of different prospects that you can get, basically, or positive sides. Just for example, some access to some specific events. And again, which ones, I'm not sure. Specific access to, I'm going to say discount or just in general accommodation at hotels and whatnot, to meet and greet with celebrities and fashion drops and whatnot. And again, the person telling me about this was very well connected, which is why I'm thinking, hey, again, this is something that I'm going to be trying out. I'm going to be buying into it. I'm going to be kind of testing the waters. If it doesn't work out, again, you get my proper mess up little form where I say, hey guys, I was wrong, but I have to try it out. I have to take the next step as everybody around me is talking about these things and everybody's getting into them. I'm feeling left out, you know? I need to own a couple. So at least, I don't want to sound cliche. I don't want to necessarily be part of the club, but I think we're missing out on a very big opportunity as it is literal technology that's going to take over. The only value I think that I have to really assess properly all the time is an NFT overvalued, and should I buy like a Bored Ape or a CryptoPunk, for example? I've decided I might buy a Bored Ape, but I would definitely not buy a CryptoPunk purely because I don't really understand the prospects of it. Is it a crazy community? Well, none of the people really seem to shout out to me that that's the case. Most people just keep saying that the Bored Apes, for example, have a very nice connection scheme. So I might do that. Again, the negative side is that it's a couple $100,000. So I'm going to try and get a couple of cheaper ones. And if you guys have any recommendations, put them down below because I'm just going to dabble more into it. But I'll not go full force. I'm not changing the channel or anything. I just need to get into a couple. So I'm going to definitely share my journey with you guys. And hopefully we'll make some money with that. And I'll share whenever I think of something, guys. Not promotional piece, not sponsored, just my own thoughts. I told you all, I'm completely open and honest with you guys. I'm sharing my thoughts about these things. So yeah, I'm going to look into that. It's the first one that I really was convinced today. It sounds really good. All right, having said that, what is going on with XRP? Because I actually kind of wanted to base my video around that today. Our trades are still doing quite proper. XRP was actually lacking a little bit. Bitcoin was doing more good in that sense. Let's actually quickly refresh this to see how things are coming along right now. I think it's been a rather interesting last couple of days here, specifically for XRP and Bitcoin. Right now, our Bitcoin trade is still at about $1,100 worth of profit. Our XRP trade at about $900 worth of profit. Again, 140 and 100 or 260% respectively. Not too crazy, but still doing amazing. And I guess the chart is not loading for some reason, so let's just move on to our XRP news. So James Fillon shared this. Great insight on today's Senate AG hearing from SS Friedman. Today's hearing in Senate AG was a clear indication that both sides of the aisle are interested in crypto and looking to collaborate on fostering innovation and protecting consumers, starting with the opening statements from Senator Stabenow and John Boozman. I don't really need to go too far into this. However, what is very apparent and what is very important to cover is that Russia is showing a very bullish approach towards crypto all of a sudden. They're going full currency force mode. Guys, just got it confirmed. It says here, YouTube looking to add NFTs and Web3 integration. No way. In 2022. You see, guys, I am missing out on this NFT realm. Everybody's going for it. The metaverse keeps on expanding, and I'm a little sucker, not with not that many. So again, I also want to make sure that if ever it comes to that state, that I at least have a couple of NFTs on my name to kind of shout out for it. You might think it's stupid. Hey, all favors to you guys, but I'm thinking we're missing out if we're not owning at least a good chunk of them. A lot of you guys are saying XP Ledger NFTs, and I think that's actually not a really bad idea, but I actually haven't come across many good ones yet for the actual thought process behind it. Because if you're talking and saying to me, yeah, but it's the XP community that you're getting into a group with, or there's prospects, which ones? If there's a couple of different events, hey, okay, maybe. But if I get an XRP community, I already have that, so it's not really anything beneficial to me just quite yet. Maybe we could actually design one ourselves for an XP community, for example. But if I really want to say something to the XP community, I'll go to Twitter and boom, it's done. We have a lot of, community. We have the Discords and whatnot, so that's really not really beneficial to me personally. But man, YouTube looking into it as well. That is crazy stuff, guys. All right, so this one was mostly about the fact, I think, that the U.S. doesn't or shouldn't stand behind Russia basically and fall behind, whether we're talking adoption-wise or just innovation-wise, where, again, the U.S. right now is showing a little bit of a, we'll wait it out and see type of approach, where they're just delaying things about the ETF, for example, the spot ETF, and with the Ripple case, that it's just extending and not really giving out all the information. Or Russia's just like, yeah, thumbs up. When it was a lot of confusion at first. At the end of the day, though, Russia has won this race. China has already won the race, I guess, first, while being very negative about it, though. But again, that's just priorities. And China literally banned it for the right reason. Let's say it like this. They did a very bad thing for us as crypto guys for the right reason from themselves. If you want to foster all the innovation in your own circle, and you want to really expand on this technology that's revolving around CBDCs, internally basically, it makes a lot of sense why you're not going fully into the decentralized realm, right? I fully understand. So if we're talking about a business basically that can kind of weed out all their competition by one specific move, I understand. Russia and the U.S., however, are thinking about the line more broadly. I think there's also a little bit freer to actually speak, the people themselves, in that sense, about what exactly they want. I think in the U.S. it's a little bit easier to come out for exactly what you want in that sense. So what I'm thinking about that is, well, yeah, if they were to go ban it, they would most likely lose out on quite a lot, as it's right now a little bit of a race. And it depends on what exact race you're looking for. Are we talking about the race between the Chinese yuan and the U.S. dollar? Maybe the U.S. dollar will actually do worse because of the China ban of Bitcoin, right? Potentially, in the CBDC comparison, that is. However, on a little more of a bottom layer, I honestly think that the U.S. has a couple of advantages that only Russia has now for actually taking it in as currencies, because you're going to get a lot of innovation. So if we're talking about the S&P upgrading to a newer thing, let's say, for example, the newer crypto index is going to be like the, let's call it the CPX, CPX, for example, that's going to be basically the new important thing. And if it's based in the U.S., basically, which again is not logical because it's a decentralized thing, but you guys get my drift. It's basically revolving around the U.S. Everybody looks about it in dollars. Yeah, that's definitely a very big step because it's the newer sector. And again, maybe in terms of CBDC, China's yuan would be more important, but then the U.S. dollar and the U.S. everything basically will stay at the center of it on. It can kind of stay as the Federal Reserve and whatnot. Basically, it kind of stay as the center of everything. But that's my thoughts. All right, Crypto Law has been sharing a couple of things. I've been checking them out over on Twitter, man. I've been really just scrolling through here every couple of hours. I update myself with a new small thing. If XRP holders, in XRP holders motion papers found on the website, I cite the Harman case and other cases holding Bitcoin as a form of money. Telegram case held crypto managed on a decentralized network are not securities. Gensler ignores the legal precedent. Again, because that's the discussion that keeps going on back and forth and back and forth. And people are really, I guess, starting to notice that the SEC is not holding one clear line. It's like a couple of different small lines, and they themselves don't even know exactly what is the truth anymore, I think, because they've gone for so many different verdicts. And from some perspective in the Ripple VSC case, they keep putting up different cases which they've gone through and try to kind of explain exactly in their own sense why this case or that case should matter, which again have been false, I think already 2 times or so. But then again, if we look at different cases or different presidents, they're like, well, let's look through the fingers on this one. Let's not include that one because it's negative for us. It's like, what? What are you doing? To move on, though, to not stick too long with one thing, John Dean, as his own Twitter, I guess, has also just been an absolute beast. Whenever I check out his Twitter, which right now is not loading properly, he's just shouting out everything which makes sense as well, you know? Like, for example, candidate for governor of Texas, Don, has committed to passing Bitcoin legal tender in the first session if he wins the governorship. Tennessee State Representative introduces bill to allow the state to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. All this stuff is just so juicy, and it's all come out in the last couple of days. Articles like this are absolutely useless if you ask me, though. Whatever JP Morgan sees, guys, my videos are not financial advice, but JP Morgan, I'm not sure if they officially call themselves financial advisors for statements like this. I think this is just research that they publish, basically. It's not as if there's any one line you can pull through this. There's, let's say, 1,000 different analysts that work at JP Morgan. They all have their own opinion. They all have their own little facts that they draw into their little schemes every single now and then. JP Morgan has been bearish on crypto. JP Morgan has been bullish on crypto. What exactly can you fetch from this? If they say today they think it's going to hit 150K, they might say tomorrow it's going to hit 40K. They might say the day after they're going to hit 400K. You cannot do anything with this information that's really valuable to you. So please, guys, if you see JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, any of these bigger banks say something about crypto, I would say disregard it. Personally, my own thoughts. So I honestly just don't know what you can do with that. BlackRock says in 2022, the game changer will be the metaverse. Or at least a different way. Metaverse will have a game-breaking changes in 2022. It's going to be crazy. Here, for example, JP Morgan 2017, Bitcoin is a fraud. JP Morgan in 2021, investors could make Bitcoin 1% of their portfolios. It's all around. You can't really hold one line through this and say, oh yeah, that's this or that and this, that. All right, we actually partially caught this one out already, I guess, but in a different way. Congresswoman Mary Newman has bought Grayscale Bitcoin Trust shares. It's going to happen. It's going to be everywhere. You know, it's part of the plan. And then BlackRock is planning to offer crypto trading to clients, again, the biggest asset manager in the world. Eventually, every Wall Street firm will capitulate or they will be left behind, which I've described a couple of years ago as well. Every single major financial institution will eventually have to make some sort of statement about it. Either going to be fully against it, which could be a policy, which could be respected by some entities, or they're going to have to adapt towards it, which is the same as, for example, I've said before, if you're not getting into TikTok, which again, I'm really bad at, you're basically not using the social medias to your full potential. Even though I really dislike it for what it is, there's just at some point you have to make the step, all right? And right now you might still say, oh, okay, wait. Sure, but it's going to keep getting bigger. It's going to be more and more, quote unquote, revolutionary or whatever you want to call it. It's just going to keep taking over more. And the same thing's going to happen for crypto, you know? It's the same thing as people who did not want to accept the internet a long while ago. You can try it for a little while, but it's just not it's not going to work basically over a longer period of time. You're just basically saying no against the inevitable. And that's the same thing for crypto. Almost every single asset manager, bank, whatever out there, financial institution, they will at some point or another have to accept it as the new thing. The only thing they have the right for is to say yes or no to, I guess, any new investments into it. But they're going to be confronted with it. They're going to get the question a lot from their clients and whatnot. There's no ignoring it anymore, guys. This is the new technology. You guys don't know it. I know it very much so. Not financial advice these videos, but I try to share as much knowledge as possible and get you guys thinking. Always do your own due diligence, and research. Don't just trust my words. Always back it up with facts if you can. And let me know down below if you got any cool NFT projects coming up. I'm going to check them all out. And please don't seal your own stupid small little project. Please put something that you think actually has some validity to it. You know, I don't want to see just 2 holders, anything stupid like that, or your own project if it's nobody in there. Just some actual big stuff or great stuff. Again, I'm just expanding into it as I know this technology is going to keep popping off and I don't want to be left behind. And I suggest you guys do some more research as well, as literally, guys, the amount of people I've spoken to here who made millions of dollars, I'm talking tens of millions of dollars off of NFTs, is pretty insane. And so I know a lot of people who started out with nothing, literally within 1 year, can become a millionaire if they know this game properly. They don't have to make their own NFTs, guys. They just need to be selective about these things because right now it's a crazy sector. And I'm also not thinking that it's just buy anything. No, definitely not. I want to be more selective about it. Think about it properly, of course. Make a good strategy about it. In the same sense that we attack, I guess, these metaverse cryptos, right? We don't just buy any project. I say no to the majority of investment opportunities in the metaverse realm because a lot of them look bad. I just try to get into a lot of them, though, because I know the sector is going to keep popping off, specifically as I have a couple of insights on that, but I'll share that more in another video, which is coming out soon about metaverse and my top cryptos for that. But just watch out for that. All right, just put your NFT things down there below. And I got a 3,000 XRP giveaway coming up, or $3,000 worth of XRP. I don't actually know which of the two it was. I'll announce it, I think, tomorrow. I'll put the groundwork in tomorrow, make a Gleam campaign, and get you guys in on that as well.